Hello and welcome. It is the AFL Armchair Advisors. We are coming to you we're on location for our round 14 show for this AFL season 2021. I am Rich of the Armchair Advisors. Joining me is the man with the stats, the man who knows all there is to know about sport and then a little bit more. It is Sensible Dan. How are you, mate?
I'm feeling good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. We've been busy. We've been on a real sort of a whirlwind trip to go and visit our global field correspondent, Desmond Van Bus, who is all of a sudden, he's looking like he's going to be in contention for the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, as usual, there was no real guidelines given to us. He sort of just said, go to the airport and hop on a plane and they'll know where to go. And we were like, well, they won't.
The 2 tickets were there waiting. We were like, well, this is weird.
They won't. And so we've ended up here. Des, you going to care to elaborate on where we actually are?
Well, that's it. I've taken him to the Latvian training centre in Latvia. If you didn't know, as you can see in the background, it's a very nice facility that I've bunkered out.
So, are you kidding me? It looks like that someone just put a perfectly good swimming pool in the middle of a bomb testing site. What is going on? Where are we?
Perfect.
Are you a swimmer now?
Perfect. I'm a swimmer now. I've decided. I've shared all of the polar bears. These goggles are coming off because I'm going cross-eyed and foggy. So they're going to sit right here. But yeah, I've shared all the polar bears in Latvia and all around the world. Yeah. And now it's time to become a swimmer.
Those goggles were damn tight.
They must have been tight. Oh. Look at this. Oh. Man is scarred. Is scarred. You look like a reverse raccoon. What's your stroke? Freestyle. Okay. Yeah. When's the Olympic trials? When are they happening?
Genuinely racing tomorrow. Tuesday the 15th.
This is like
it's exciting. It's really exciting.
No, but this is like Jeff Farmer just deciding 2 weeks out from the big freeze event, I'm better get in shape here. And this man here's decided 2 weeks out from the event.
That's what he basically did do. I mean, as I understand it, he only took up professional swimming 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And all the training's been based just on intrepid travels, swimming upstream to catch salmon and all this sort of nonsense. So
snorkeling wine bottles, It's what happens.
Well, good luck to you, Desi. It's interesting to see the Latvian professional athletes go about their business. And speaking of athletes going about their business, we are going to rip into this week's worth of football games. It's a shortened week. It is the last of the bye rounds, and most teams are having a bye, so it's going to be a quick pod from us. But we are stacked. We have got... Boys, we've got game previews. We're going to go through who needs to pull their socks up. We're going to go through who's killing it at the minute. I've got a gigantic Dummy of the Week special. You've got a scramble.
A big scramble this week.
I'm here. Dan is also present.
Yep.
All right, chaps, let's leap into it. It is Friday night at GMHBA Stadium between the Geelong Cats and the Western Bulldogs. This looks like an absolute cracking game, and I'm bloody excited. Dan, what have you got here?
Well, I'm in the same camp, mate. I'm really looking forward to this game. Two teams who are rightfully in the premiership conversation this year. Now, there's not really much to split them. They're both pretty... You can make arguments either way here. They're both pretty good teams. Dogs' post-bye record since 2011 is 4-7, right? Now, the Cats... Post-bye record, as Des will tell us, is now 2-8. But the week after the bye...
Okay, good.
They're actually statistically the best team in the AFL.
The Cats?
Yep.
Wowzers.
So this week, I really couldn't split them up any other way, so I'm going to be tipping the Cats just purely based on that statistic alone.
But if they flipped the script last week,
are
they going to flip the script this week?
Well, maybe, but
that would be a typical Geelong thing to
do.
Absolutely would. But like down at GMHBA, it's real hard to tip against them at the best of times. So yeah, look, we'll be going the Cats 1-39 this week.
This is very interesting. What about yourself, Desi? You've been in the Olympic training camp. What do the professional athletes have to say about this one?
All I'm going to say is they learn an important phrase. It's the Des Dog of the Week. I've got to find me... I can't find me Des head. I can't find the Des head. Oh, here he is. Des Dog of the Week, baby.
Unbelievable.
The odds aren't even out yet, but I can tell you that the Dogs will be the dog because it's in the name. And playing in Geelong, they're obviously going to be the dog. I think they're just going to play a... I like to say the word crisp. Not crisp. It's on the tip of my tongue, but they just play a better brand of footy. And Geelong love to shit the bed once they've played a good game. Like, they played a real good game, finished off strong. I know you like to say they finish off or start the game how they finished off the previous week, but
as I always say,
I don't know. I think the Doggies are going to go in here. They're going to be motivated to get a big win. They've been rolled by Richmond and they've been rolled by Melbourne, two top teams. They're not going to want to be rolled by a third. They're going to want to stamp on this game, and I feel like they're going to do that. feel like they're just going to be too strong through the midfield.
This is interesting. The doggies.
I think they are.
This is very interesting. I got some.
I don't want to diss on Geelong's midfield at all because, of course, they're all potential All-Australians, but I think they're going to be too strong.
Is Guthrie coming back going to swing that needle for you?
This is what I mean, but I feel like the quantity of the Dogs midfield, as I've said all year, is going to it's quantity and quality, and I feel like that's what it's just going to be overwhelming.
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you here, my friend. Respectfully disagree. Guthrie back, that's huge for me.
Team Cats.
Dangerfield is going to be so much better for the run for last week because he was dust. He was I was at that Port game. And Dangerfield was so quiet that Port fans didn't even boo him when he got the ball. That's how quiet Dangerfield was. Okay,
it's just rude to be disrespectful to him last week.
It genuinely was.
They knew that he was coming off a quiet one, so you can't boo a bloke who's coming back from injury. Just let him have a week and then give it to him next time.
I heard more boos for Brad Close in Geelong's forward line.
That's funny.
It just didn't happen. So yeah, Danger's going to be better for the second time up. Guthrie back, huge.
Interestingly as well, post-game, they interviewed Jeremy Cameron. He said last week was the first time since he's been at the Cats that he's actually trained with the rest of the team.
The Danger?
No, Jeremy Cameron. First time last week he's trained with the boys.
Jeepers.
Because they've been managing his load that much. He hasn't actually trained properly with the lads yet. So now that he's back actually in training, sky's the limit.
And still pulled out, 4?
Yep.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Sky's the limit.
Unreal last quarter.
Cameron, Rowan, Hawkins, 12 goals. How do you stop that if you're the Dogs' backline? And the Dogs' backline looks reasonably similar to Port's backline for mine in terms of that height differential. They don't play a tall backline, the Doggies, and I'm just a little bit worried that they're going to have their hands full trying to stop those 3 big berthers in Geelong's forward line there. I've got another stat for you. The Bulldogs have not won at GMHBA Stadium since 2003.
Your tip is not looking good there.
The last week's Dog of the Week, I was defying the odds with them when it was 1-8, and it's now 2-8. So now records are made to be broken. Dogs are going to win 2021, baby.
Look, if the Dogs midfield's still missing Duncan Treloar, then that says enough for me. I'm sorry. So I've got to tip the Cats here 1-39. Now, at the time of recording, we cannot get mobile phone reception here in Latvia. It's ridiculous. They've never heard of 4G. They thought that 3G was the name of some sort of kebab shop down the road. I couldn't translate it from Latvian into English. But no reception whatsoever. Don't ask us how we're broadcasting this to you because I'm not prepared to answer that question. So when it comes to bets, we're not able to tell you what the markets are doing this week. It's a great shame. But I've tipped through the form. I've gone through the stats. I found a whole heap of little legs for each game that I'll be looking at when we do get back to civilization, and I can look at Sportsbet or any other betting agency for that matter. So get your pen and paper handy, and if you're having a punt this weekend, have a look at Tim English 1+ goals. Same for Cody Waitman, anytime goal there. And then I'm liking Guthrie and the Bont for 20 touches each. Jack McRae 30+ touches, and of course Tom Stewart. Ever reliable Tommy Stewart for 20+ disposals. So if you're putting together a little multi or some bets, why not consider those? See how you go.
And they've been coming off.
They have.
Have a look. West Coast Richmond last night.
Indeed. I won't talk too much about it, but if you jumped on last week's West Coast Richmond multi that got dropped on the show, you would be well and truly in the green right now.
Absolutely. We had a good weekend. We had a really good weekend. Not to blow the own toot the own horn a bit, but toot. We had a real nice weekend.
No, delicious. All right, let's roll on. All right, I was going to do the scramble, but I reckon we might save the scramble for the next one because I'm keen to tip into this next game. I want to get this one out the way early. It's the Saturday afternoon game at Metricum Stadium. It is the Gold Coast Suns versus the Port Adelaide Power. Desi, who's winning this one? What's going on?
Oh, the pair are going to fire up here. I don't know if they've actually... I don't remember them ever losing a game in Metricon. I don't know what the actual stat is, but every time...
I'll find out.
Every time I like to...
I can't attend cell reception.
Oh, yeah, Gold Coast are a sneak here, and I I don't think they're a sneak at all.
On SOS there.
Yeah, it is. I'm Morse coding it, so that's my Morse code.
The Latvian Eskimos will get back to us.
Latvian Eskimos.
But die. In all honesty, though, Gold Coast really they were horrible against Freo. That was the toilet bowl of the round, and we had Giants in North Melbourne, but far out.
That might have been toilet bowl of the year, to be honest.
Toilet bowl of the year,
it was junk.
I was talking to Rich about it at the time. I actually legitimately felt terrible for Stuart Dew. He was sitting on the bench just shaking his head.
What could he have done?
It was it was King walking into an open goal, and commentator, I can't even think who was commentating at the time, said he can't miss this. And what did he do? proceeded to miss it from 15 metres out.
Easily, yeah.
It was a disgrace.
It was horrible, and that's why they're not going to beat Port Adelaide. Unfortunately, at home, doesn't matter. Anywhere. They can play Port anywhere.
And
Port are going to be pissed.
Last week we were pretty excited to see Matty Rao back in. He looked like a man who had missed every bit of the last 15 months of football, essentially. It was real rough going, and I feel bad for the Suns, but even in saying that, Port's record against top 8 teams now, disgusting. Just want to throw that out there. I know Gold Coast is anchored to the bottom, but I can't believe in Port as a genuine contender this season. Their percentage against bottom 10 teams is 171%. So the statistics will tell you that they're going to flog Gold Coast, and I honestly believe they will do. But yeah, flat track bullies, they ain't winning flags this year. No doubt in my mind. Anything to add here, Rich?
I'm very annoyed. I can find stats on Jiangwan Stadium in Shanghai, but I cannot find the stats I'm looking for Metricon. What was Metricon called beforehand? Do you have a name before that?
Don't even know.
What was
Gold
it called?
Coast Stadium.
Yeah, don't know, mate.
Yeah, that'll do. Forget it. I tried, and I'm giving up early.
Eskimos couldn't deliver, mate.
Port had a real disappointing finish to that game there against the Cats, but they were not as bad as what Power fans were carrying on, giving you the big one about.
Well, they could have won. They could have what? They were 10 points down at three-quarter time. 10 points down, and then they kicked 3 goals or something stupid in 5 minutes.
Now it's interesting. I've been watching a lot of Netflix. Been doing a lot of reading of Wikipedia articles during the week. You know what I mean?
Famous for their accuracy and
they are, especially when I'm adding to them. Been hitting that History Channel big time on Foxtel as well. I saw a program on evacuations, okay, on Foxtel, and the 3 greatest evacuations that the History Channel on Foxtel could come up with was number 1. Was British troops withdrawing from Dunkirk in 1942, I think it was. Yeah. Number 2, second all-time most greatest evacuation in history was Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt. And the absolute best all-time, no exceptions, hugest evacuation in history was Port Adelaide fans leaving the Adelaide Oval with 7 minutes to play and their side was only 16 points down. If that was you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Ashamed of yourself.
Yep.
What did the Crows do on the weekend? Do you know what I mean? If you'd have gone home at half-time, you'd have missed one of the great all-time fight backs. What about the Eagles? Same deal. Do you know what I mean? Yep. So if you're leaving games when your team 16 points down and there's still 7 minutes to play, I mean... Take a running jump. That's just terrible.
On a long weekend as well. You don't have to be home. You don't have to be home.
Foul. But having said that, Port, it's quite clear they've got a couple of gaps, and it's shameful. Well, I say shameful. It's disappointing when you start to see how much of a hole that Zach Butters and Xavier Dersma are making, because 2 kids that are age 20 shouldn't be the difference between your side being a contender and not.
Yep.
They need a blue chip midfielder. They really, really do. Some sort of a Zach Merritt, a Shai Bolton. I mean, why not? Do you know what I mean? Just chuck money.
Throw your hat in the ring.
What's the worst that can happen? Exactly. You get told no?
Exactly. I mean, you're right in saying that, though. Zach Merritt should be priority number 1. They should be doing everything in their power to get him away from Essendon, because Boak looks to have lost a step, which you expect at this point in his career.
How old is he? How old's Boak?
32. Yeah, about that. Willem Drew is only ever going to be what he is right now, which is
a scrounger.
A scrounger. You know, a bloke who you can put in there. You know what you're going to get, but nothing more. They've got to find someone who can fill a little bit more of a hole in that midfield.
Rockcliffe is dead.
Yep.
Like, we won't be seeing him again, let's be honest.
No.
Okay. Boak's slowing down. Wines is in ripping form at the minute. Butters will come back.
Lone hand, though.
Butters will come back. I don't think Rosie's got the maturity to play full big midfield minutes. They need another key mid. And they need another tall back as well. Mm-hmm. And that's where, like, I know a few Port Nuffies that are just so mad that Westhoff got cut when he did, because Westhoff just plug and play him wherever. And the boy, they could use another tall defender to sit back there with Jonas and Aaliyah.
Oh, look, I've said it all along.
Jeez.
Tom Cleary, a linchpin.
He genuinely is.
People don't want to hear it because he doesn't fill the stat sheet, but he is one of the best defenders in the AFL, and they genuinely miss him. Big time.
I've always rated Cleary. Mm-hmm. People just... Port fans appreciate Cleary. They do appreciate Cleary, just no one else does.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want, though, if you're a Port fan. Like, if you're a sports fan, you want someone on your team that you know is a jet.
Flying completely under the radar.
So, Port 40 plus?
Yeah, Port 40 plus.
Yeah, Port 40 plus. Gold Coast were just as disappointing as you think.
Gold Coast can't get on the score.
No.
If you're getting...
Score sheet, mate.
And that's exactly what I had written down. Look, if you're getting outclassed by an undermanned Fremantle, do you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do against Port Adelaide? I'm sorry. Gold Coast, they need key forwards. King will get there, but they need key forwards. And if they can't do anything with it... You know who their main goal scorer was on the weekend?
Oh, tell me.
It was Chris Burgess, 191 centimetre pinch hitting ruckman, and that was their chief scorer. So no, they got a lot of
6 goals, 13, Des.
No good. You ain't winning games
Ridiculous.
So anyway, yeah, look,
Ridiculous.
Port 40 plus for mine. So we have a consensual consensus. So we're on.
We love that. Okay, if you're looking at bets, why don't you keep your peepers open? And I don't know what the markets are doing whatsoever when we record this, as I said. So have a scout through. If you like the odds, jump on it. What I'll be looking at this week, Wines 25 plus, Boke 25 plus, and I'll be looking at Amon, Houston, and Brandon Alice for 20 plus touches each, and Mitch Georgiades, Isaac Rankin, 1 goal apiece. That's what I'm liking there.
Old spanking.
Delicious.
Old spankin' Rankin. All right, Big Desi, do you have a special scramble for us this week?
You know he does.
I do. So in the jungle of Latvia,
How is there both jungles and Eskimos here?
It's a diverse place. It's a diverse place.
The country is about the size of this room, mate.
Yeah,
It's
genuinely.
in the middle of Europe. They're like crazy. They're like one minute it's snowing, 1 minute it's a jungle. It's a jungle. Planting trees.
You better be careful. They'll come over here.
I love Latvia.
Yeah, they can stay in
Shout
the
out to
background.
Misha Serkinov, big fighter from Latvia, the Latvian Canadian man.
You're a mentalist.
All right,
Give me a
so
scramble.
I'm going to run through all the AFL teams from A to Z, and I'm going to give you a topic, and you have to tell me, and I'll give you the first example. It'll make more sense as we go. But each team's going to have a topic.
No, it won't. Of course it
I'm
won't.
going to ask you. So first topic is Adelaide. Which Spice Girl reminds you of Adelaide?
Who are you asking
Or just
this to?
relate it. I'm going to ask it to Dan.
Oh, there you go.
And why?
Which Spice Girl? Baby Spice, because they're just full of young kids.
Perfect. And this is what it's going to be like, except everyone's not going to get the Spice Girls. Richie, you're going to get what chili is Carlton? I'm specifically skipping Brisbane. We're coming back. We'll come back to Brisbane.
What do you mean, what chili?
What chili? What do you mean?
What type of chili is Carlton? And why?
No, they're like that fountain chili sauce that you put on like
The
potatoes.
mildest, most weak sauce of all time.
Chili.
Capsicum. Big
I'd
capsicum.
probably lean towards milk.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Perfect milk. And Brisbane TV show. Which TV show is Brisbane?
That is actually a great
That's a tough
question.
one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a billion TV shows.
This is probably one of the hardest ones. The rest we go real hard after this.
Golly, I don't even know.
No, I think
We're gonna have to tag team some of these questions.
We're gonna have to tag
Maybe
team
I'll
some of
just
these.
ask. I'll just ask in the general question.
I don't
In
hate
the
that
direction
idea.
of general.
What I'm thinking is, what's that 60 Days Inside? What's that show? Do you know what I mean? Where it's like folk go like spend time undercover in jail.
Yes.
Because they got enough hard heads and
Yep.
ugly dudes in that team that I feel like
dude.
it's. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, I can agree with that.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, we're filming this on a Monday, and Collingwood are currently playing now. Which fruit is the Collingwood Magpies? The next one's going to get you.
This is
boys.
dangerous as hell.
Yeah, it is. Look, I'm going to say lemon because that's like everyone refers like a crappy car. It's a lemon.
It's a lemon.
That
Sour.
Collingwood-
They leave a sour taste.
Collingwood
in their mouth.
are a lemon football.
They
team
come to
right now.
Adelaide and left a sour taste in their mouth after a
Also
good performance.
Big
All right,
Boss
Essendon. Which barnyard animal is the Bombers?
Donkey. Go.
Which flavoured candle is Fremantle?
What do you mean?
You don't eat them.
No, I said
Scented, you
flavoured
mean?
candle. No, I said flavoured candle for the alliteration. Flavoured
Flavoured
candle.
Fremantle. I think he's
He's
double effing it. He's effing it all right.
It
That's what
actually
he's
isn't. It's
fucking
not
doing.
actually alliteration, but it's okay.
I think vanilla.
Yeah,
Just boring.
Yeah.
Standard, bland.
Yeah.
Inoffensive.
yeah, exactly right. You don't hate it, but you don't love it.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Oh, you got a vanilla candle, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Well, which pop song is Geelong?
Pop song.
Yeah, I've got this already. Can I just jump in?
Yeah.
Shake it off. T-Swizzle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shitty start to the season. Everyone's like, oh, Geelong's off. Dad's Army, they're no good.
Yep.
Next minute,
They were shy at the start of the year. To be
Belton Port
fair.
home.
Great.
Shake
All
it
right.
off.
Which
done.
Australian mammal is the Gold Coast Suns?
A mammal.
Stop looking at me. I've taken the last two.
Yeah, but you give me like these questions are just ridiculous. Australian mammal.
Either a wombat or a numbat, surely.
Yeah, it would have to be numbat.
No,
Perfect.
no good. Nearly extinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which brand of car is GWS? Well, halfway, I think.
This is torture.
Yeah, it is.
This is torture. A brand of car.
I'm going to go Great Wall. Any Great Wall car. They look great on the outside, but you get inside, terrible.
It's just a
Yeah.
mixture of different parts from different other cars.
It is.
Pretty much,
Just
yeah.
a mess. All right. Which flavour of soup is Hawthorn? Get ready for the next one.
I reckon it's like
Gazpacho.
yeah, actually that's because everyone
I
loves
don't know
tomato. It's cold tomato soup
Yeah.
basically, and that's
Yeah,
like because
stone
tomato soup.
cold.
You expect tomato soup to be amazing, and then it's all what it looks like tomato soup. It just tastes. It's just junk. It's just chili.
Yeah.
It's just cold.
They're a bit like that at the
It's
moment.
cold.
They are.
It's cold.
They did
Nice
have a big
one.
win on the weekend, but they are a bit like that. Which type of egg is top of the ladder Melbourne Demons at the moment?
What do you mean?
What do
type
you
of
mean?
egg?
Type of egg being like fried scramble.
Oh, because I was thinking, how many different animal eggs?
Yeah.
Chocolate eggs?
Yeah.
Testicle eggs?
So-
What do you mean?
So what type of egg is Melbourne?
You can either, whether it be animal egg, fried scramble, whatever egg.
Surely sunny side up.
Yeah.
Surely.
Oh, that's actually exactly how I thought of them as when I wrote this.
I
All
can
right,
commune with the animals.
which pop
I'm
singer?
the dumb whisperer.
This is going to be a good one. Very interested to see what you say with this one. Which pop singer is in North Melbourne?
Pop singer.
I just keep putting does Angry Anderson count as a pop singer?
Yeah.
Oh, do you think?
Rebecca Black.
That's about
Perfect.
when she was relevant is the last time they were good. So that's nice. That is nice.
Oh, when Drew Petrie went loose. All right, which social media app is Port Adelaide?
Don't say Grinder.
Nah.
No, I know you're thinking Grinder. Don't say Grinder. Don't even think Grinder. Stop talking about Grinder. All right? No more of that.
I'll say Vine because their chances this year are dead.
Sheepers. I like that.
Oh, which
I
beer
love
brand
one.
is Richmond?
So did I. Which what?
Beer
Beer brand.
What type of beer? Or...
Dead set Victoria Bitter. Most recognisable. Plays a good game when it comes to the social media chat and the marketing chat, but you get it in the mouth. It tastes like junk. The blokes that love it are fiercely loyal and proud of it.
Unless they want to get behind us, then I'll
Victoria Bitter. No.
I'll scull a whole.
Yeah, if you want to send us a free carton, I don't.
Yeah, I'll scull
No dramas on my end.
I'll scull a whole carton right on there. All right, I will not. By the way, I do not have that in me. All right,
You're an Olympian now.
What type of Christmas ornament is St Kilda?
Well, they're not the star at the top of the tree. I'll give you the hot tip.
No. Doormat.
No, they're the rocks that are keeping the base of the tree from falling over. They're not even that because they've stopped nothing from falling over. I don't know. The box that the tree came in.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
3 to go. All right, which flavour tuna is Sydney?
In oil.
In
brine.
No, I was going to say in spring water.
In spring water. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to skip the doggies. We're coming back to them. Which kitchen utensil is West Coast?
This is harming me.
You're going to hate the next one.
Kitchen utensil.
Yeah. Egg flipper, spatula, some sort of pie server. I'm trying here. I'm really trying. I'm really trying.
It's ridiculous.
That's the worst one of the lot.
That's horrendous.
Just wait till the next one.
An egg timer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because their time's up.
Well, they keep us fucking waiting.
Yeah.
All right, which IKEA menu item is the Western Bulldogs?
Menu.
Yeah.
Like food.
I don't know any apart. What do they have? The $1 hot dogs.
I'll answer that.
And the meatballs.
They're meatballs.
Why?
Big set of meatballs on them. Big set of meatballs. When they play finals this year, you're going to find out why.
Well, thank God that is over.
That is one of the most baffling, extraordinary, irritating, unbelievable things I've ever had the misfortune to be a part of. Well, I'm glad you did. As Meatloaf didn't once sing, 1 out of 3 ain't good.
And no one can complain their team missed out.
They
Found out the West
Sunny side up. Well,
Yeah, you're all complicit. Everyone shared in the misery just then. It's just wonderful. Speaking of misery, let's head over to Marvel Stadium for Saturday afternoon's game. It's the North Melbourne Kangaroos versus the Brisbane Lions. I think we can punch this one out reasonably.
What a crazy
quick.
draw. What a crazy draw. Giants definitely, as they call it, big apple pie shit the bed. That's what they say in MMA terms. Apple pie bed shitter.
Really?
Oh man, yeah.
Well, I've learned something.
What is it? Why apple pie bed shitter?
Well, because you bet on them. So Cody Saftik says this. He'll never watch this ever. But for those that, if there is a link between someone that actually watches Cody Saftik and see what he says, you'll appreciate it.
Spit it out. Come on.
You bet on the Giants, right? You think you're going to win. You're going to get the apple pie. Guess what? They've shit the bed. You're not getting any apple pie, mate, because they drew. Apple pie shit the bed big time. No, I can't believe they drew against North Melbourne. Guess what? That doesn't mean anything because I reckon Brisbane are going to win 40 plus here.
And we are discussing North Melbourne, not GWS, but that's also totally
either
fine.
or. They both shit the bed.
When you both draw, that's
we can punch this one out. But North Melbourne they were much better than I gave them credit for coming off a bye. They actually looked half decent for 3/4 of that game. Like, they really were trouncing.
They did
Giants.
everything right except win.
Exactly. It was just that they just died at the last. But, look, Lions 40+.
It's the mark of a rebuilding side, man. They don't know how to win. They don't know how to defend a lead, to keep hold of it, and then to grind that out. And if you're not good enough to actively put them to the sword in the fourth, and to at least prevent them from getting a run on, and that's just what happened here in this game.
They're a fair bit up in the end of the third.
They were. And
also, a quick point, just towards the end of the game, I don't know, did you either of you two sit down and watch it?
Yeah, did you?
So last quarter, there was about 8 minutes left. Jack Zeeble was riding the pine for the Roos.
Yep.
Couldn't get back on.
Yep.
Tim Taranto was riding the pine for the Giants. Couldn't get back on. That is so bad. Such bad mismanagement from both of those teams. Why are you letting two of your better players sit on the bench when it's like crunch time?
No, but I guarantee you that would have been the sports science guys been like, no, they've played too many minutes already. You have to keep them off.
Absolute bullshit.
Well,
at that point in the game, you forego any sports science. And I'm, being with a bit of an EP/sports background myself.
You're good,
right?
Duck.
Yeah, look, I'm just putting it out there.
No.
That's crap. There are rules, and as you always say, some of those are meant to be broken.
Damn right.
You got to get your best players on the park.
Damn right.
Well, do you want to win or do you want to draw?
Well, and that's what you get. That is exactly what you get. Gee, wouldn't North love Ben Brown back right now? Wouldn't they love him back? Because GWS was just way too tall off that half-back line. Himmelberg kept floating up and having marks around about half-back flank, which was weird for him, just getting up that far. Nick Haynes had it on a string. North just don't have any tools anymore, and that's really hurting
Got
them.
Nick Larkey, and that's it.
Also, interestingly, 4 out of North's top 6 disposal getters were defenders. What does that tell you?
That's always tough.
What does that tell you about where their midfield unit is sitting right now?
I'll be honest with you, just quickly as well. Aaron Hall managed to break the Matt DeBoer tag quite easily at the end of the day. First quarter, he was looking a bit slack. Then he just ran rings around him for the rest of the day.
Impressive from Hall. He's just quietly putting together a bit of a season. Brisbane, on the other hand, we haven't chatted about them. Let's just have a look. Shaken by the Ds, would have reset over the bye. Now it's time to kickstart the second half of the season. You've got a nice, just a little toe dipper. You know what I mean? Just dip the toe in. Easy done here. Do you know what I mean? Just get back
2 weeks to plan for the room.
Exactly. Get that winning feeling back in, and I wouldn't have thought Lions are going to get troubled here. The one thing I would like to see from the Lions is just a bit more consistency. You know what I mean? Like get bloodthirsty, get in front, and then hammer them, and keep going. That's what I'd like to see from Brisbane here. But that's easy plus. I'm saying 40 plus.
I can't see, especially like a Fagan side.
Yeah,
the way that they played the last 24 months, like since they played in 2020 and 2021, even in 2019, like they're going to win this game. They're going to win this game. They're not going to they're not going to do what the Giants did last week, and make it a bit of a.
I would have thought, and it's my shoe in this week. That's my shoe in. Yeah, Brisbane 40 plus. If you're having a bet, have a look at Aaron Hall 25 touches. Have a look at Daniel Rich and Jared Lyons 25 touches. Have a look at little JD Stevenson for 15 plus, and also I like Zerha and Zorko anytime goals.
Love it.
Zerha's been playing good.
Mm-hmm. That little banana goal he kicked in the last.
Unreal goal.
Delicious.
What was it, Dwayne Russell that gave it a zip zap and a Zerha?
I like that.
Yeah.
I did like that.
Yeah, and that's just nice. Just something a little bit funky.
So we are comfortably moving on.
We're comfortably moving on here. Let's have a look at the Saturday evening game at Giants Stadium between, of course, the GWS Giants and the Carlton Blues. Now, boys, GWS, you do have to give it to them. Courageous to guts yourself back into a contest like that when you were on the ropes. Because most teams would have just flopped, you know what I mean? The blood would have drained out of the vas deferens back up into the body and would have gone big limp time. That would have been that. Says a lot about them as a team that they didn't and that they cracked in, although admittedly I think it probably says more about Josh Kelly than what it does the rest of the team, because without him they wouldn't have had that fight back.
You saw that snap goal on the run on his right foot in the pocket?
Yeah.
Just delicious.
It was one of those, it curved and then curved back again. It was real weird.
Yeah, they're trying to play it off as this Chinana nonsense crap.
It's got nothing to do with it. It's not deliberate at all.
Yeah, but no, it's not. When he's on form, he is absolutely one of the top 10 players in the comp. Like, no one can run with him. His tank is just absolutely elite. And when he does stuff like that, I mean, how many other players in the comp can do that on their wrong side? Not many.
And then go back to the middle and start again.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah.
Unreal.
He's been playing unreal. The Giants, it's like, this is probably the best game after what I said, shitting the bed completely against North Melbourne, which it was. Because they beat North Melbourne. They only have to beat them by a point. And then they win this game, they're going to be ahead of Richmond. They're in the 8. So that's a real tough draw for them.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get up here, though. Carlton have not showed it. This is hard. This is a hard tip for me. Like I really don't want to commit to the Giants, but they've shown that they can. They've shown that they can lift when it matters.
Well, my question about GWS gutsing themselves back in after they were down and out. Would Carlton have done that in that position?
No way.
Would Carlton have done that in that position? They have done the opposite this year. Very sorry, Carlton fans, but you know full well Carlton have done the opposite of that this year. Another little stat for you. Carlton have played at Giants Stadium 4 times in their history. How many wins have they had in that 4 times? No, none. Yeah. What was the?
It's not looking good.
What was the evil demon look like on The Conjuring 2? None. Yeah. That's how many they've had. Absolutely none. And they've got a review hanging over their head.
Yep.
You know, brand new CEOs come in and decide, you know what, everyone here is shite, and I'm gonna get the razor blade out. I'm mad at everyone. Poor old Johnny Barker, been there 11 years. He's out on his ass in the cold.
Well, normally that bye week is a nice time to refresh and recover. Not for Carlton.
No, there'll be none of that.
There was one club in the league that wouldn't get a break. It would be Carlton.
There'll be none of that. Look, having said that, Mackay coming back in from concussion, that's a nice little in. But I reckon Josh Kelly, huge. Cal Ward has just been like bobbing along in his wake and also doing quite well. I wonder if the ball goes to Cripps. Because he doesn't have the tank to go to Walsh.
Nah. It's going to be one of the two of them, though.
He just doesn't have the tank to go to Walsh.
The last couple of weeks, to me, has looked like he goes hard real early in games. And then by the fourth quarter, he starts sort of fading out. You saw it against Hawthorn, against West Coast as well. He pushes himself so hard early. It's like when we were watching the Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather fight the other day. Logan Paul came out first round, all guns blazing. By round 8, dust.
99.
Absolute dust.
99.
The one thing I was disappointed about, I'm just going to go back to GWS for 1 second. I won't say disappointed. It's Toby Green. He was both the fire starter and almost the reason they lost the game. One goal 4 he kicked for the game.
That's junk, isn't it?
But the fourth quarter, he was the reason they got back into it. Like, I know you can't put it all on one player, but if there's anyone in that team that should be kicking better than that, it is
There's
Toby
been some
Green.
horrendous goal kicking performances this year. Like, I know there is every year, but like some big players that you wouldn't expect, and just teams in general, like horrible goal kicking this year. It's a real issue.
Real rotten stuff.
Blues won for 39 for me.
Yes, what you're
Sorry, sorry, Giants.
Japers.
Giants.
I can understand you flip-flopping either way, though, here.
Nah, I'm not.
I
drew with North Melbourne, mate.
I did have a bit of a
Melbourne.
But
Giants at home, they'll want to win this. They want to play finals footy this year, and this is the only way they lose this. That I think it's over. No finals this year, and they know that.
I strongly agree, fella. I think a young GWS backline could struggle a bit against the more experienced Carlton forward line, and they do have some experienced heads in that forward line. But I'm sorry, just with everything happening in the background, and it's all going to come down to effort. Whose club comes together better after adversity? I think it's the Giants.
Absolutely.
If you're having a bet, though, now we do have a little narrative on the go this week, boys. Zachy Williams coming back into orbit. Yeah. So that was literally the first thing I was like,
we love revenge.
I froth of a revengeful bet. So Zachy Williams 20+ touches. I also like Cal Ward, Isaac Cumming and Sam Doherty 20+ touches each. Also look for Walsh, Kelly and Taranto 25 touches. And your man, Matthew Owies for anytime goal.
My God, I've never loved a player more than Matthew Owies. And you know that full well, mate.
Mate, the second he got drafted, you were on him. I remember the message. It's him.
It's him. And he's arrived, mate. He's arrived.
All right, fellas. Sorry for doing it like that. It's a bit of a dumb call. And boy, oh boy, do we have some dumb calls this week. Which means, of course, fellas, that it is time for this week's...
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Dummy of the week.
Yeah, it's dummy of the week. It's been away for 2. It's been out for 2. It's had concussion, all right?
Yep.
It's taken its mandatory 12 days out, and now it's back with a vengeance. I'm going to have to churn through, because even though it's a short pod this week, I tell you, I've got that much to get on. So dummy of the week, I'm giving an honourable mention to England fans of the English football team, running around yelling out, "It's coming home." You've won one group stage game against Croatia as well. There's nothing coming home.
I'll have none of this, mate.
There is nothing.
I'll have none of these, because I'm one of these fans.
I know you are.
I'm one of these fans.
That's exactly why I put this in. You beat Croatia. Nah, coming home.
Croatia are good.
And 1-0.
I
think Croatia. I had Croatia in the World Cup. 20 out there.
I almost did message you guys last night, because although I'm a bit of an England nuff, Croatia last night was paying $6.50 for a win, and I almost messaged you and said that's massive value. That's huge value.
Croatia are good, and they rolled them. 2 years ago.
Yeah. I don't want to get stuck on this, but it is coming home, boys.
There's nothing coming home. A big one to St Kilda fans, in particular Booper Breck over at AFL News Trade Rumours, Trading Exchange, whatever they're called these days, blaming the umpires for St Kilda losing that game against the Crows. One call in particular, unhappy with. That's what cost them the game apparently. Not the fact that they didn't kick a goal in over a quarter and something like a quarter and 5 minutes of football. 1 goal and a half, maybe? 1 goal, 6 and a half of football. But no, it was the umpires that lost it for them.
Go the Crom.
Shut it up. If you're blaming the Crompires for that one, then you are the worst bloke in history.
And Riley Thilthorpe.
Oh,
what a man. What a
thrill
man.
house.
I know you were a little bit on the fence when we drafted him last year, mate.
I was nervous.
I backed him straight away.
Gosh,
I was
he is
nervous.
a jet.
Interesting, that St Kilda game, if you're genuinely going to blame the umpires, you need to have a look at yourself because St Kilda, they won the disposal count, the kicks count, the handballs count, the inside 50s count. They won the hit-outs, lost the clearance game, unfortunately. Uncontested possessions, they beat the Crows by 32.
It was actually a flip of like the week previous. Like we shouldn't have lost to Collingwood and we should have lost this game.
It was an inversion.
Apart from the last 5 minutes, it was legitimately one of the most disgusting games I've seen.
Horrendous.
In years. From both teams. It was horrible viewing.
St Kilda rolled on. They 70 to 43 marks, more marks inside 50, more contested marks, 104 intercepts to 91, 102 tackles St Kilda had to Adelaide's 57.
And I don't care if the umpires were kicking goals for the Crows. There's no way you should be up at 36 points at quarter time to the Crows 0 points and lose.
And lay the world's biggest egg. So your fans, you suck. I've got a big old dum-dum award to the entire Hawthorn football department this week. You might not be aware of this. Were you aware that Mitch Lewis didn't play on the weekend? Were you aware of this? Yeah? Mitch Lewis didn't play because the Hawks were concerned. They had their bye and they were like, no, we need to get tougher. We need to get harder. So they scheduled a full-on boxing competition amongst all of the boys. Went to town. Mitch Lewis got his bell rung twice by Jacob Kazicki, got concussion, and has to be out for 12 days.
Do you know what? That's sick from Kazicki, though.
Big rate that from Kazicki.
I respect that. I reckon he could throw some good hands.
So the worst news is, though, the title fight between Mitch Lewis and Hasbulla has been cancelled on the back of this. So
no, but Buller,
Hasbulla has
the two greatest words in the English language, baby.
Yeah.
Default.
Absolutely.
It worked.
Absolutely.
It worked for the Hawks.
It did.
They come out firing.
That's a genuine work health and safety issue. Like that's genuinely.
Yeah, but I like it. I don't mind a bit of that from Clarko.
I like that too.
You can't be putting your blokes into positions like that where they're going to get their clocks cleaned and they're not going to be playing footy because that's just stupid. I've got two big ones to finish off. Big Jamara Ugle-Hagan. Now this one's either going to Jamara himself or it's going to Sam Edmonds, who was reporting this piece of news in particular. Apparently, according to Sam Edmonds, that Jamara is pissed off, hasn't debuted yet, disenfranchised, disillusioned down at the kennel, don't like it. How come everyone else, you got big sweet chili Phillies kicking goals? How come I'm not getting the game? What's going on? Maybe I want to leave. Maybe I want to go somewhere else and get traded. That was what big Sam Edmonds was saying. What do you think about that?
Oh, do it.
Yeah, go on then.
There you go. Yeah, put your money where your mouth is.
Correct answer.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to debut. I mean, let's be real. You've turned up to a club that's been fighting for the finals contention and is now looking for all the world this year like they're going to be top 4 minimum. Mm-hmm. It is the mark of a shit football club that you can be a number 1 draft pick, come in day one and start getting bulk games and then just win yourself an easy rise.
Go get traded to Freo.
Let's be honest. The Dogs, really, they had pick number 1. All right. They were not your typical team to have pick number 1.
No.
They were not.
No.
If he was playing for the Crows, he absolutely would have debuted by now. If he was playing for Collingwood or Hawthorn, absolutely would have debuted by now. Mm-hmm. Not in a top 8 team, especially one that's top 2.
It wasn't going to happen. Jamara, bide your time, fella. Understand where you're at. And if you don't like it, skedaddle.
Get over yourself.
Come to Adelaide.
Or if we've misreported you, then apologies. And if Sam Edmonds, whatever his name is, the bloke that reckoned Rory Sloane was leaving, if you've got your wires crossed once again there, Big Sammy, have a word with yourself.
Do one.
Go back to school. The biggest one for mine, though, the biggest, and this has got to win Dummy of the Week, straight out, David King. David King this week, yeah.
Unusual for David King to be in this spot.
G'day, Duck. He reckons David McKay deserves 3 to 4 weeks minimum for his bump on Hunter Clark. No, it doesn't care that it's a football act. I've actually got the quote here. Do I have the quote here? No, I didn't screenshot it. It's probably best. I don't need that poison polluting my phone. But basically, McKay drops the shoulder in, going for the ball. Yeah. it's millimetres in it. It's
He
very
had
unfortunate.
his hand on the footy.
Well, it's very unfortunate that Hunter Clark breaks a jaw.
Absolutely.
At millimetres in it, do you know what I mean? But both blokes going for the ball. If either of them don't go for the ball and they pull out, it might hurt someone. Well, then you're dropped. Your coach is going to drop you.
Yep.
It's a terrible accident that's occurred. This is a contact sport. And if David King genuinely reckons that that's worth 3 to 4 weeks, he's got very short memory because he used to love sliding in on the knees back in the day.
That was great for the Crows. That was a real
team lifter.
It wasn't a turning point immediately, but we showed a bit of fire, a bit of spirit after that.
Gumption.
And we won.
Look, as you rightly
Thanks,
said,
David.
you don't want to see that sort of stuff happen. I felt terrible for Hunter Clark watching it live because you know that you knew immediately he was in.
That's what Dan said it straight away.
He was in big strife, and you don't want to see that, but. If you're removing that stuff from the game, what are you supposed to do?
You've just killed the game.
Exactly. And I was watching the post-game and Lee Montagna was having a chat about it with David King at the time.
Yep.
And he said it's too much to ask players to make these split-second calls for David McKay to pull out at the last second. Because something else could happen. David McKay could get hurt pulling out.
Well, you pull out, that I just think of it in my mind, if you were to pull out or he jumps up or whatever, that he could it's be a knee, an ankle.
Rolls an ankle as he's going.
And again, right,
Trips.
as you said, if he pulls out of that contest, not that it would matter for Crows fans because we were all a bit sick of David McKay at this point in time, but he would get dropped.
Of course you would.
If you're pulling out a contest and seem to be being weak, you're gone.
If you shirk the contest, you're out. You are out. So David King put it. David King, he hasn't liked collisions ever since he got done for DUI, bloody back in 2019.
You're gonna be saying that, Doug.
Ever hear about that?
I didn't. But
Driving around at midnight in his SUV, crashed into a cab that had Jack Rewalt in the back of it. Whilst on the piss, got out, shook everybody's hand, and then drove home again. You can't be dishing that up, Kingy.
Absolute knob.
Oh, so King, have a word. And if the AFL/MRO do David McKay, then put yourselves in the bin, blow the league
Just
up.
also quickly, love that Michael Christian. He couldn't even. It shook him so much, couldn't even grade it. Couldn't even give it a grading.
Get rid of Michael Christian. Just get rid of him altogether. Get rid of that entire office altogether because it's just stupid.
Start over.
So that's a big fat special edition of Dummy of the Week. Actually, special shout out as well to the absolute nuff, that blonde-haired female spectator that was at Optus Stadium last night. I'll put the photo up so you can see. She's got the eagle staff around the neck, and she's holding up a sign saying, "Dusty, will you marry me?"
Oh yeah, I saw that.
You idiot!
Nah, I love that.
You're a loser.
You got to shoot your shot, mate.
What a suck!
What if he turns around and says yes?
Yeah. Not with that eagle scarf on, he won't. What a suck. Anyways, let's roll on. Last game of the round, Sunday afternoon at the MCG. And it's part 2 in what was a brilliant part 1 back in round 1 between the Hawthorn Hawks and the Essendon Bombers, if you recall. That one in which Essendon were up by 40 and ended up losing by 1. I'm very interested to see what happens here, boys.
I think it's going to be very similar, except Hawthorn aren't going to come back. That's what I think it's going to be. Hawthorn had a great win against the Swannies. I think this, and I hate to take away, end up saying this every week, but it happens every week. I don't want to take away from the winning team, but that was Sydney were dry. They were so dry, and they're just done. They needed a rest. They needed a big spell. And
it was a classic
Hawks
Sydney performance
capitalised on
this
them.
year, really,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Just
Capitalised
ordinary,
big time.
super ordinary.
Hawthorn were good, but they weren't fantastic. Hawthorn just played winning footy.
Yep.
And it's as simple as that.
Where's
They're not
that
gonna do it
Hawthorn
this
been,
week.
though? Where's that team been?
Oh, I think it helps big time.
It just goes it just goes to show what happens when you give Clarko 2 weeks to prepare for someone. He had them worked out perfectly from first bounce to last. There was no chance Hawthorn was losing that game. They just looked far superior. And like you said, Sydney just looked crap.
I think Bombs are going to want a bit of vengeance after the
Genuinely.
Richmond week and a half off. Well, how many days? 11,
Yep.
13 days off.
They'll be refreshed. They've come home.
They're going to be filthy about that because they really should have won it.
I actually found this quite hard to tip though because we don't really know what a post by Ben Rutten led Bombers looks like.
No, we
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
So it could be anything.
Those young fellas are going to have a rest because they are primarily young fellas. They're going to have a rest. I reckon they're going to come back and be all right.
But my big things for trying to tip this game was I was thinking to myself, now first things first, I reckon Sam Draper and Dev Smith and Peter Wright are all very potentially back in the squad for the Dons.
Well, that makes me feel even better about having Dons.
Very, very, very interesting. Parrish is significantly better now than what he was in round 1. This whole Bombers outfit is significantly better now than what they were in round 1. The Hawthorn that we just saw beat Sydney, is this the Hawthorn of this year? Or was this a flash in the pan? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely a flash in the pan.
100%.
I believe it's a flash in the pan. I believe Essendon is a better outfit now than they were round 1.
They were way better in round. They were a much better side than Hawthorn in round one. They killed Hawthorn until the last quarter.
And that's why I'm tipping Essendon Bombers this week, 1-39.
They're going to learn from the mistake, I think.
As well, 1-39. You doing 1-39?
1-39.
Yeah.
They'll be spewing about that. Bombers will be. I was spewing about that. Bombers there.
This is the consensual cast part 2. I reckon.
It is. It is. We're agreeing on everything, and I bloody love it this week. I bloody love it. We've got that synergy triangle, 3 points, and it's a synergy.
Big A.
No, that's pretty much all I've got for that one. I'm looking forward to seeing Mitchell v Parish, though.
I think Mitchell, you can basically pencil in Parish for another 3 votes here.
Genuinely, yeah.
I was going to say, I feel like it's
If you got on him for Brownlow when I told you 2 weeks ago, it's looking good.
I reckon if you
looking
$17 was
real
it not?
good.
19,
Yep.
17, 19.
I reckon if you arb bet both Mitchell and Parish, most disposals, Group 1, no matter what happens, you get money that day.
And then watch Zach Merritt have 45.
The forgotten man.
Just throw it in.
He's smelling that lucrative Port Adelaide money.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's talk bets very quickly. Keep your peepers open for Zachy Merritt, 25 touches. For Parish and Mitchell to have 30-plus touches each. For Shields, Hind and Heppel to have 20 touches apiece. And also for Harrison Jones, if he survives the cut, he might make way for Peter Wright. We'll see how we go. But if he's still in, I like Harry Jones and I like Kyle Langford for a goal. Both of those lads. Kyle Langford's had a goal, I think, every week for the last 5 weeks now.
And he's been playing a lot of midfield clock too. He's really exploding, looking like good talent.
Looking like real good talent indeed. That is us. That is us. That's us. Thank you for joining us here in Latvia at the Olympic Swimming Training Facility. And
He's off for training.
he's off for training. He's off to jump in the pool. And we're off as well. This has not been financial advice, of course. Please gamble responsibly if you follow any of our tips. Please do us a favour. Like and subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it because it costs a lot. Plane tickets to Latvia, I tell you, they don't pay for themselves.
Not cheap.
No,
It's
they're
expensive.
Not. Yes, they are. So please like and subscribe. And Dan, how do the fans find us? How do they get in touch with us?
So get on the socials. Obviously on Facebook, Armchair Advisors. Also Instagram and Twitter at Armchair AD. And then obviously the YouTube channel, which is also Armchair Advisors.
Message us. Chuck us a message. I love reading the messages. Get around it. Tell me if my goggles look sick. Because they do.
And also don't forget, it's the middle of summer over here, so we're not wearing them today. But back home in Australia, it is very, very chilly. So don't forget to get around our mates at the Furzy. We've still got the discount code Armchair10 at checkout. So please get involved with that. A lot of different designs and they're bloody warm.
They're unreal. They're sick.
They're so good.
I love the Furzy.
Yeah, I mean, you were training in yours the other day. That attached to it wouldn't take it off. Would not take it off.
It's cold.
There's no stopping him. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Take care.